Today I'm going to take you through an elemental flow that's relating to autumn and the metal element. So the metal element has to do with letting go. Often also it's said that it has to do with grieving, but grieving isn't always around death. It could be just, grieving the loss of anything that we choosing to let go of, and perhaps that we haven't chosen to let go. So in this practice we're going to embody that letting go and have that intent in our mind as we flow through the postures. And as always with these flows, it's less about the technicality of each posture, but more about how it's affecting you on the inside, how you're feeling. And in this particular practice we're going to pay special attention to our breath, and specifically the exhale. And don't worry too much whether you should be inhaling or exhaling or how and when and what. It's just allow yourself to breathe, and just allow yourself to feel and be aware of your breath. So let's go through this gentle flow, and most importantly, enjoy your practice. So we're going to start in child pose. So bringing the head down. You can have your knees wide or closer together. It's not really, that doesn't really matter too much. And then if your forehead is able to touch the mat in front of you, you can let it touch the mat. Extending your arms out and really feeling an opening up in the shoulders, under the arms. And then in this position, we're bringing awareness to our breath. If for whatever reason you have knee problems or ankle problems, and you need to be in a position like this, or even if you have to sit, if you can't go down onto your knees, sit on your bottom, the most important thing right now is just connecting with our breathing. And like I said, let's bring emphasis onto the exhale, that real letting go and releasing. And then coming up onto the hands and the knees, so bringing your knees below your hips, hands below the shoulders, and bringing your back into a tabletop position, so as flat as you can have it. Okay, and head and neck is aligned with your spine, so you're neither lifting the head nor dropping it. It's somewhere in between. Keeping your breath flowing, and then allowing your breath to move your spine. Okay, so as we exhale, we're just shifting the spine in different directions. Inhaling, and then moving into a cat-cow flow. So as we inhaling, opening up the chest, expanding the chest, and then as we exhaling, we're drawing the belly button all the way up to the spine, rounding the lower back. So really feeling that opening and lengthening in your lower back. And then inhale, lifting the head, opening the chest, and exhale. And you're following your own breath. So if you're going either slightly faster than me or slower than me, that's okay. I'd like to just invite you to go within and and follow your own breath, allowing that to guide your movement. And then we're going to bring more hip movement in to our cat-cow flow. So as we exhale and round, let's bring the bottom towards the heels. And then as we inhale, bending the elbows, raising the head, opening the chest, and then exhale. So a nice fluid circular movement through the hips, through the shoulders, gentle bending at the elbows. And then coming back onto the hands and the knees. And just being aware of how your spine feels, how your breath feels, having gone through this fluid movement. Then we're tucking the toes under and then coming into a down dog. So in our down dog, especially when we're getting into it for the first time, let's just bring a bit of movement. So maybe it's alternating, shifting from hip to hip, alternating bending the knees, and more importantly, like getting some movement into your pelvis, your spine. Maybe like me, you get a little bit of a click in your hip or your knee. And then keeping your palms grounded, so your fingers are nice and open, the tight palm of your hand connecting on your mat. And then coming to down dog. For those of us with tight hamstrings, you might want to bend the knees. And then focus on lengthening the spine, putting the bottom up towards in the air. Or if your hamstrings allow, you can engage your quadricep, your thigh muscles, straightening up the knees and still getting that length in the spine. And then slowly walking your feet towards your hands. Okay. If you are somebody with tight hamstrings, you can bend the knees and bring your hands there. If your hamstrings allow, you can bring your hands to the ground. Good. And allow the crown of your head to flow forward. And keeping your breath flowing. It might not be as easy to breathe in this position, but just being aware of how your breath changes as you're folding forward. And then bringing a slight bend into the knees as we roll up, coming to an upright position to Tadasana, which is mountain posture. So your feet are hip width distance apart. Just a gentle drawing up of the kneecaps, finding a nice central position for your pelvis, and neither too arched in the back nor too flat. And lengthening the spine all the way up through to the neck, crown of the head, gentle opening of the chest, and then focusing once again on our breathing. creating space in the belly, in the chest. And when it comes to the metal element, which is our focus today, we've got the lung meridian, which flows from the thumb up to the chest, to the lungs. So it's bilateral, so on each side it's the same. Each side is a mirror of the other. And then we've got the large intestine, which is a big part of our letting go, which also runs all the way up through the neck. So from a meridian point of view and a fascial line point of view, that's the area that we are bringing awareness to as we open and lengthen and energize. But like I said, more importantly, it's about going in and bringing in the energy of letting go and releasing, and doing that with our breath as the guide. Okay. So let's take the feet nice and wide. Okay, keeping that gentle engagement of the thighs, the quads. Okay, we can bring the hands just to rest on the hips, and in doing that we're opening up the chest. Okay, and on the next exhale, let's bring the body forward. Okay, so if I show you from the side, it's a lengthening of the spine, nice tabletop position, back. Okay. And that might be as far as you can go, and that's okay. But if you're able to fold a little forward, then holding on to the elbows, and then just allowing the crown of your head to drop towards the mat, keeping your thighs nice and strong. Each exhale, seeing if you can release a little more through the back of the legs. And then bringing your hand below the forehead. If your hand doesn't reach the ground and you need to place it onto a block or onto a chair at a different height, that's also okay. Bringing your left hand to your lower back, so where your spine meets your pelvis, as you twist to your left side, and then raising your left hand up towards the sky, and you feeling your arm and your chest open all the way from your thumb through the front of your arm to your shoulder, chest, and looking up or looking straight ahead if your neck doesn't allow. And then bringing the left hand down and doing the same on the other side. So bringing your right hand to where the spine meets the pelvis, twisting from the waist, breath flowing, and then raising your right hand up, reaching up, opening up the chest. With each exhale, allowing your chest to open a little more. Using the breath to help the body to release. And then bringing both hands down. And now interlacing your fingers behind your back. And then raising the arms up. If your hands can't reach each other, just bringing the hands parallel to each other and having the palms facing each other, lifting the arms up. Okay, opening the chest, drawing the shoulders back, and perhaps you can feel your shoulder blades drawing towards each other. And then feel the difference between leaning a little bit forward towards the balls of your feet and then leaning a little bit further back towards the heels. So notice what that does in your legs, from your calves to your hamstrings, You'll notice it feels slightly different. Just experience what that difference feels like. Spend a bit more time where you feel you need it the most. And then bringing the hands back to your hips. Bringing your back into a tabletop position again. And then coming back to an upright standing position, back to Tadasana. Mountain posture, nice upright, long spine, long posture, open chest. And now let's come to the front of the mat. Okay, bringing a hand to the heart, to the chest. And we're going to do one sun salutation flow, just to bring us back down onto the mat. So breathing in, raising your arms up, exhaling as you fold, float forward, either hands to the ground or to the shins. Breathing in as we look up, lengthening the spine, breathing out, folding forward. Okay, and then let's step the feet back, either into a plank position or bringing the knees down onto the mat. And from either position, bending at the elbows into chaturanga and then into upward facing dog. Now opening the chest. Okay, if you want to just stay down here in a cobra, that's also okay. That's it. And then exhale, downward facing dog. And let's hold our down dog. Knees bent if you need them bent. And then bringing the knees onto the mat. Okay, and then coming into a kneeling position. If kneeling doesn't feel good and you need to sit for a loose cross-legged position or legs out in front of you, that's all good. We're trying to get that length in the spine. So a little space between the chin and the chest. Opening up the shoulders. Now drawing your breath all the way down to your belly. Rib cage expands, belly expands, and then exhale. Belly contracts, rib cage contracts. And then bringing the hands behind again. And then raising the hands as high as you can, drawing your shoulder blades together, opening up the chest and the fronts of the arms. Once again, we're not forcing our chest open. Just as we breathe, the body naturally releases. Just be aware of those mini releases as you go deeper into your practice. And bringing your arms down. You can either bring your knees wider or keeping them closer together. Let's bring the hands down and forward in front of the mat, bringing your forehead down. And then we're going to thread the right hand under the left arm. Okay, so reaching through and really opening up through the back, the shoulder blade, and along the front of the arm. And at the same time, we're still trying to bring our bottom towards our heels. If you're not able to get into this child posture and you're in a sitting position, you can bring your arms like this. Okay, so bringing your arm across your body, you're getting that same opening in the arms. And then coming back to the center, noticing the difference in the sensation from your left side to your right side. And then we threading the left hand under the right arm. The focus on breathing. Closing your eyes if it allows you to pay more attention to the inside. And then coming back, lower down. Let's come to lying on our backs. Bringing the palms onto the mat beside us. And then maybe you can feel your heels with the tips of your fingers. It helps you just to get your heels and your feet aligned. And notice what your pelvis feels like on the mat. And trying to get that natural curve in the lower back, so we're neither pushing it down nor arching the back too much. It's finding that middle ground. And then really feeling the expansion in your chest as you breathe in. If possible, breathing through the nose. But if your nose is blocked, breathing through the mouth is fine, as long as you're breathing. And noticing that movement in the belly also as you're breathing. And then allowing our arms to move with the breath. So breathing in as we raise the arms above the head, and breathing out, bringing the hands back to the side. So breathing in and out. In and exhale. Okay, now just checking in with the heels again, bringing the fingers to touch the heels. Let's tilt the pelvis and peel the spine up off the mat. Okay, and then just opening the chest as you raise the hips. Okay, coming into your bridge position. Keeping the breath flowing as you do this. And then you might find that you can breathe more to the belly than to the rib cage, and that's okay. And then breathing in, doing the same arm movement as we did when the hips were on the mat. Breathing in, breathing out. And in and out. And then coming to bring the hands onto the hips if you can. If not, just bringing your hands onto the mat and lifting the hips as high as you can. And then slowly bringing the spine and then the hips back onto the mat and drawing the knees into the chest. Okay, so just releasing the lower back and that arching position of the back, but tucking the knees in and doing a gentle rocking from side to side. And then within that rocking, taking hold of your big toe, or you can take hold of the inside of your feet or around the outside of your feet, but drawing your knees towards your armpits and opening up the back of the legs, the lower back, and the glutes, the buttock muscles. This is your happy baby, so like a happy baby you can rock from side to side, or you can just hold it still. Maybe not such a happy baby today. And then bringing the soles of the feet together, knees out, opening the inner thighs, right down to the pelvis and the groin muscles. And then bringing the feet down to the mat one at a time, palms down. And then slowly bringing the legs to a straightened position, toes out, palms up. And practicing this letting go into your mat. So with each exhale, your body releases, allowing your mat to hold you, allowing the ground to support you. And perhaps through this practice you've had some things come into your mind that you need to let go of. Maybe it's a person, maybe it's a habit, maybe it's whatever it might be. And as we lying in our Shavasana, with each exhale, just visualize letting that person, that habit, that belief go. And if you want to stay here a little longer, stay as long as you need to, as long as your time allows. And if you feel like you've reached the end of your practice, just rolling over onto your side, before slowly bringing yourself back up to a sitting position. And just giving yourself a little bit of time before you get up off your mat and start your day, just to let your practice and what it's revealed to you just really sink in to your body, into your being, and maybe you get glimpses of your practice throughout the day and allow that bit of peace and awareness that you've been able to see in your practice just transform your day. Thank you for sharing your practice with me.